Hi everyone, Armine Bazikyan here. This month I wanted to talk to you newlyweds out there and what you should know about estate planning before you actually get married, or maybe you've already gotten married recently. These are some things that you should know. It's not the first thing on your to-do list when you're planning a wedding, but it should be something that you actually look into at the very least before you get married. But at the worst case scenario, even after you get married, you have to check out estate planning laws and make sure that everything is squared away with your estate plan. This is an important part of the unification process, and your license for marriage actually changes a lot of legal rights that you have, as well as a lot of rules that all of a sudden apply to you. So some of the reasons why you need to talk to an estate planning attorney is because when you get married, you might buy a new home or a property. So when you buy property, your rules and regulations and your rights change when it comes to your spouse. So if you purchased a new home and you're a newlywed, whether you took title in one of your names or both of those names, all of those things impact your rights. So that's one reason to seek out an estate planning attorney, is if you purchased property right after you got married or before you got married. The second reason is babies. Once you get married, that's the next step. Or maybe you've already had children before marriage. If there are children involved or will be involved in the future, it's a really great idea to set up your estate plan ahead of time. That way, when the babies arrive or when you have more children, all you have to do is amend your trust as you go along. So second reason is obviously children, taking into consideration children you might have. Third very important reason to talk to an estate planning attorney when you're considering marriage or you've already gotten married is actually the rules that apply to married couples when it comes to probate. So some of the assets that you have that you might bring into the marriage might be in one name, some of them might be in joint names. When it comes to separate property versus community property, the probate rules are very, very different. So for example, if you just recently got married and your wife has the house in their name, a property, but really it's her property and she would want it to come to you at her death, you have to be careful because it's considered separate property. And if you don't have children, there's a portion of that property that will come to you, but there's also a portion of that property that might go to her parents. So you really have to sit down and talk about what it is that you want done and if it actually coincides with what the law is. If not, you need to put to work a trust to actually write out all of these things for you. So an estate plan would actually help you put together all of your wishes and desires. And I also especially want to talk to the people that are not legally married, but that are married and that have unified together under some other ceremonial rules, or just they consider themselves married because they've been together for so long, they just don't have that license. This video is especially for you because your rights are even more significantly impacted at death. So you have to be careful. You have to talk to an estate planning attorney. So for example, if you're not legally married, you don't have any rights to your partner's assets, because the law does not consider you any type of relative. So there's exceptions to that, of course, because we live in California and there's common law that we have to apply as well. But for the most part, you should definitely, if you are a couple who doesn't have a legal marriage license, but you're together and you own several properties and you have kids, you have to talk to an estate planning attorney. So for all you newlyweds out there, congratulations. The next step is to talk to an estate planning attorney and make sure that all of your estate issues are in order and everything is planned for.